trying something, going through that uncomfortable phase, and then hiding behind, I'm just not doing well at it because I'm not passionate about retail sales, or I'm not passionate about residential sales, or I'm not passionate about this one little aspect,
or the product that you're selling, or whatever.
Yeah, and a new word that I've been throwing around lately is that's asinine, right? Like it's asinine to say, right? Like it's like, I was, anything, especially ex-athletes. It drives me crazy when ex-athletes say that, because I'd be the equivalent of like, I quit football because I wasn't passionate about running until I puked, right? Like if you're being passionate about something means that you'd go through hell and high water, for
right.
it. Marriages, for better, for worse, right? So, being passionate means that you'd be willing to go through anything for it, not the second shit gets hard or the second shit gets uncomfortable that, you throw in, the towel. So for me, I think that, if you're truly passionate about growth and the things that I was passionate about in the company, it doesn't mean being passionate about something doesn't mean it comes without resistance, right? And I decided it checked off my 3 boxes: the culture, the growth, and the amount of money, I was making. I was happy with all 3 of those things, just like there were certain things about football and basketball that brought me joy, and I decided that I loved. So, injuries, you play hurt, you play sick, you play in the rain, you play in the snow, you'll do whatever. And so for me, I just decided that, hey, these 3 things are the things that are the most important to me in a work environment. And yes, if negatives are going to come, if challenges are going to come, if things that are going to be uncomfortable are going to come, that I'm willing, to go through, that stuff. I just craved the end result. And so a lot of people think that they use passion as like this shield to avoid challenges. Like, I just wasn't passionate about it. No, you just weren't good at it. You weren't any good.
Or you didn't really try as hard as you could, or you didn't hold yourself accountable. Or
you hadn't earned the right to be disappointed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so, for me, I saw a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people still do that in performance-based industries or in competitive industries, especially the sales industry, where a lot of offices like post performance, or they post the top guys and this, that, or another thing. It always seems to be the people that just didn't want to get outside of their comfort zone, or didn't want to network, or didn't want to work the entire day, or didn't want to go through the necessary grind, in order to get that. And that's fine, right? Not everybody, loves the grind and loves the process like other people do, and maybe they want more of a balance, but I just think a lot of people hide behind that. And, the example that I always use, it was a story I was telling you last night. The example I always use is, youth basketball or youth football, right? You think about, and everyone's like, no, the passion has to come first. No, there has to be an interest first, right? But I remember my first day of Boys Town, Girls Town, basketball with the legend Howard Davies.
Yeah, that's our rec league back in Freeland, Michigan for you.
Yeah, and so I think for the non-locals, everybody has like a Boys Town, Girls Town, where it's first grade boys, second grade boys, third grade boys, fourth grade boys, and then there's the big. The dads get together and they do it's like a fantasy draft. They draft all the kids and stuff, and so they put you through all these drills, and the dads assess the talent, and then it's just all the same kids that go to the same school, split up, drafted. The dads are the coaches, and there's one old school G,
the
official gangster that runs the league, right? And so Howard Davies was that. He had the starter shoes on and the tube socks with the sweatpants tucked in, and the Freeland Rec League, gray and
from 1972.
1972, right? And so you go through that, right? But when you're so excited to play your first organized basketball game, right? And you think it's going to be just like what you see on TV. And so, I'm showing, that I'm 30 now. Back in the day, it was Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill and Michael Jordan that were kind of, the guys that were running the league. Jason Kidd, like when I was growing up, when I was like 5, 6, 7, when you go and start playing, organized hoops. And so you watch them and you think that like, hey, we're going to play organized basketball. It's going to look just like the All-Star game, right? And you go in there and you're wearing shoes that aren't broken in yet. Maybe your socks match, maybe they don't. Who knows,
right? Don't match.
Yeah, ours didn't, right? But you're wearing, shorts that don't exactly, fit you. Like you would want them to. You got to pull the string, really tight to get them to fit, and then they give you a men's small shirt, so the sleeves come down to like your wrist, practically,
swimming
right?
in it.
You're swimming in it,
you
right?
Tuck it in.
You look like a dork, right? So they give you, and then And then so that they can tell the difference between the teams, then you give you an even bigger mesh penny.
Yeah.
You know, if you're lucky, you're the non-penny team. If you're lucky, whatever. And so, and then Howard Davies lines everybody up, to do the drills, and he's like, everybody hold the ball in your right hand, and and he's like, now dribble in place. And some kids, for the most part, most kids can do that, right? And he's like, now we're going to walk to half court and back. And most kids can do it. Some look smoother than others, but for the most part, people can function with their right hand. And then they're like, all right, jog back and forth. And the really unathletic kids, the ones that you rate them from 1 to 6, right? So Dad gave these kids a 1. They bounce it off their foot. It dribbles away. And then you run from half court and back. But for the most part, maybe you were carrying the ball, maybe people traveled, maybe people did whatever, but you could get from half court and back, with your right hand. And then, Howard's like, all right, now everybody hold the ball in your left hand. that moment, like you're like 5, 6, 7 years old, you realize, holy shit, this is the first time I've ever used this hand for anything,
not just
like
basketball.
anything. Like I've never held. I use it to hold the other half of my shoe when I put. Like I use it to tie my sneaker. I've only used it as an accessory piece to my right hand, right? And he was like, now hold it, and it feels weird already. You're like, no, this guy's not gonna fucking make us dribble with this hand, is he? And sure as shit, I was like, now dribble with your right hand, and your fingers instantly go like, think, like they like spaz out, and you're like beating the ball like a frying pan, like in place, and it feels weird, it feels awkward. You either don't hit it hard enough or you hit it too hard, and it just looks really, you get really close to it, to dribble it. And they're like, all right, now walk, back and forth. And half the balls scatter across the gym just with the walking, right? And he's like, so everybody has to chase their ball down, get back to the line, get done. Then he's like, now jog. And it looks like confetti. Like all the balls are all over the gym. All the kids are running from. Some are laughing, right? But if you took basketball seriously, you're just more, you're humiliated.
You're getting pissed,
You're pissed, you're frustrated, you're humiliated. Like you think your mom saw the girls town of the same grade are coming in right after the boys. You're like, dude, that girl I have a crush on. She knows she thinks I can't dribble. So she sees you now, and then and because the ball's scattered, now everybody's looking. Right? And they're like, now we're gonna run, and you're contemplating. Maybe he won't notice if I use my right hand, right? Maybe, but you do it, but then you see, Big Jim looking, and he's, kind of, you're like, fuck, man, he's going to bust my ass. I don't dribble with my left hand. And so you try, and it's just pure chaos, right? Of all these kids with clothes that don't fit, chasing these balls all over the gym. And if, and you always imagine like what you'd say, and I think all kids did this. They imagine what they would say in like their post-game press conference, just like Michael Jordan and whatever. So if someone had come up with a mic and just post-game press conference, like these first graders or like first grade me after that would be like, how do you feel right now? I for sure, 100% would not have been like, so passionate.
Yeah.
like
I just
I'm
love
beaming
basketball,
with passion and joy right now. I'd be like, I'm mortified. Like I'm absolutely
Humiliated.
I want to hide under a rock, dude. I saw my mom, like she'll say she wasn't. She laughed at me. Like she was laughing at me for the ball on the way. Like the moms are laughing. They think it's so cute. And rightfully so. Right? So mom, I'm not mad at you. But like, rightfully so. And it's funny, right? And it's uncomfortable, and you look like a dork, but you weren't passionate. Like to say that passion came, that you were always passionate. No, like passion comes from kind of earning your right to be disappointed, right? Putting the work in. And then, you fast forward to high school basketball, and, football was kind of my thing. But I think that there was more I played with like almost more passion and energy. Like we had one of the best student sections, in we'll say the whole state. We'll say the whole state, but it was the energy that was in that building, the passion, the this, the that. But one of the best compliments I ever remember getting, that people would tell Dad, like they wouldn't tell me, they would either tell me or they would tell Dad. They'd be like, one of the things I love about watching your boys play is until they shoot free throws, I can't tell whether they're right or left-handed. And because I knew, like, and I can always like think back, because I remember, Boys Town basketball, like how awkward it was to like learn that, right? I can always think back to that and be like, wow, the reason I loved that compliment so much, and the reason that compliment meant so much to me, because I knew how hard it was to overcome, like getting your right hand to function the same way that your left hand does. And then on the other side of that was where the most passionate moments, the beating of the chest and the crowd cheering and, the last second shots and all of that stuff. But none of that those really high passion moments that happen in sports, they always came on the other side of getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? And people are willing, for some reason, willing to do it in like middle school sports and high school sports for free, like pretty much kind of knowing in their heart too that they're not going to be professional athletes. And then we become adults in the real world, and no one's making us. Maybe it's because no one's making us go through those challenges, or I don't know exactly what it is. I think that's it. Isn't no one's making you go through those challenges. No one's making you stick with it. But it's for your career. It's for your life. It's the thing that's going to determine what type of car you drive. It's the thing that this job. It's the thing that's going to determine what type of car you drive, what type of house you live in, what type of life you're going to be able to have for your family. And your people are ducking these challenges and ducking these uncomfortable scenarios, and then being like, it's because I'm passionate. And it pisses me off a little bit. We won't go on that rant, but